Hello, my muses. Welcome back to another episode of Monologue and Musings. Today, let's settle in for a little heart to heart about something that might sound a little counterintuitive, shall we? So, following a couple of conversations that I had over the past few days, which kept centering around the same repeating theme of which I've been musing over. It's somewhat delicate, but I believe it lies at the very heart of a truly thriving, elegant partnership. It's the idea, the reality that not all relationships are destined for constant bickering and heated arguments. I mean, what usually flies in the face of the often dramatized narratives of love is, if you're not bickering, maybe the spark is gone. But what if? What if the absence of constant fighting could actually be the sign of a truly strong and healthy connection? In fact, the most secure and deeply connected ones often operate on a plane of profound understanding and, dare I say, a beautiful absence of unnecessary conflict. Think about it for a moment. We often hear that fighting is just a part of being a couple, that it is how you work things out. But what if we shifted our perspective and considered for a moment that the absence of constant strife isn't a fairy tale, but a tangible outcome of finding the right partner? Someone who cultivates a sanctuary of safety from the moments that our hearts intertwine with theirs. So, what truly sparked this thought-provoking self-dialogue? For me, stems from a repeat statement I listened to from the charming George Clooney about his day-to-day relationship to his wife, the ever-graceful Amal Clooney. He had once so eloquently stated on the Ellen show a few years ago when I watched that they had never had an argument. Never. It makes you pause, doesn't it? Then, in a recent interview, he reiterates the same statement that after years of being married and then raising a young daughter, and I quote, "We have still never had an argument." So for the skeptics, even if this is true, and it is possible because I can believe it, and because he goes on to highlight the values by which they build their relationship. He mentions open communication, an ability to get down to the heart of issues when they arise. This speaks volumes about the foundation that they've built together, a foundation rooted in mutual respect and a deep sense of feeling secure within the relationship. It points to something really profound for me, a safe space, a relationship where both partners feel secure enough to communicate effectively, to express even the not so positive feelings without it having to escalate into a full-blown battle. And that, my muses, is pure gold. Perhaps the truest testament to a deep connection isn't the drama, but the quiet sanctuary two souls create together. It suggests that the right person, that rare and precious find, inherently cultivates a safe space, a haven where our innermost thoughts and feelings, even the shadows that sometimes touch our hearts, can be expressed with graceful ease, never met with the harshness of conflict. The right partner, the one who fosters this kind of safety, often makes you feel it right from the very beginning when you meet and start dating. It's in the little things, They take you seriously when you share your thoughts, even if they're different from their own. They genuinely care about your hurts and your pain, and they offer comfort and empathy and not dismissal. They value you and your feelings, understanding your emotions are valid simply because you feel them. Crucially, they create a safe space for you to express your point of view without criticism, nor judgment, nor blame, nor dismissiveness. Think about that for a second. How liberating would it be to truly speak your mind? Even when it's difficult, knowing that you won't be attacked or belittled. And it goes deeper. That partner truly hears and listens to you, not just hearing words, but understanding the underlying emotions and needs. They take adequate steps to create and maintain balance and healthy dynamics in the relationship, ensuring that it feels fair and supportive for both of you. They genuinely care about your well-being and your security within the relationship, making you feel protected and cherished. They also care about your sense of identity and security as an individual, supporting your growth and your independence. And perhaps most importantly, they are not afraid of their own vulnerability, and crucially, they reassure you when you're vulnerable. They're willing to open up about their own feelings and proactively address your anxieties, making you feel seen and heard. Now, why is this so important? Why do so many of us, especially us women, sometimes find it hard to open up and speak our truth in relationships? Well, there are layers to it. Sometimes it's fear, irrational or not. It's fear of rejection, of being misunderstood, of our words being used against us later. Sometimes it's mistrust, perhaps from our own past experiences. Maybe we're just naturally more sensitive as women, or perhaps we become too attached to our partner's perspective, prioritizing their feelings over our own just to avoid conflict. We might also fall into the trap of assumption and preemptive thoughts, imagining negative reactions before we even speak. And sadly, for some, there's the real experience of our partners using our expressions against us later on, creating a deep-seated reluctance to be vulnerable again. But my muses, regardless of these reasons, it's vital to remember that our fears are just as important. A safe space acknowledges and respects both realities. Generally, how do we build these bridges of trust between us as partners? How do we make our partner feel safe? What is a safe space really? It is an environment, both emotional and communicative, where someone feels free to be authentic without fear of negative consequences. And as partners, both ways, we must enable this. We must embody it through our actions. We have to practice active listening, truly hearing what our partner is saying. We also have to validate their feelings, even if we don't fully understand them. And we have to respond with empathy and not judgment. We have to be mindful of our tone and our body language. We have to take our responsibility in our part of the disagreement and create dedicated, open communication. Think about why we as women might be afraid in a relationship and find ourselves hesitant to fully open our hearts and minds to speak our truths even when our souls yearn to be heard. Why this delicate reticence, this careful guarding of our inner world? Is it a gut feeling? Is it rooted in past experiences? Being aware of this fear from the beginning is crucial. If there's a persistent sense of unsafety early on in your relationship, it might be a red flag that this isn't the right partnership for you. It's a question that warrants quiet introspection. Perhaps the lingering echoes of societal conditioning, the shadows of our own past experiences, or even an innate vulnerability we feel in trusting our hearts to someone else so completely. And why are men hesitant to offer reassurance, particularly in the realm of spoken words? Perhaps it's the weight of societal expectations to project an image of unwavering strength and stoicism, and a subtle fear of their own vulnerability, of being exposed, or simply fundamentally a difference in how they naturally express affection and care. So often it stems from a deep-seated fear. Sometimes this fear is rooted in past experiences, sometimes an irrational whisper in the quiet corners of our minds. There's the fear of being misunderstood, of our carefully chosen words being twisted or weaponized against us in a future moment of discord. Mistrust, even the faintest shadow of it, can erect formidable walls around our feminine hearts, muses, preventing our thoughts from finding expression. Our inherent sensitivity as well plays a role, that very quality that allows us to connect so deeply and empathize so profoundly can also make us hesitant, fearing that we might be perceived as overly emotional or dramatic. Then there's the intricate and often unconscious dance of attachment. We can become so attuned to our partner's perspective, so deeply invested in their opinions and their expressions that our own voice feels subtly muted, almost secondary in importance. Then assumptions can creep in like silent shadows, those preemptive, sometimes even intrusive thoughts paint a picture of how words will be received. And it's often less than the actual portrayal. And sadly for some, there's painful reality that past expressions of vulnerability have been met with dismissal, leaving invisible scars that make future openness feel fraught with peril. The thought of it is devastating, yet the right partner, even with our diverse needs and love languages, should ultimately make us feel secure and valued. Let's talk some more about reassurance. Why are men hesitant to offer reassurance? I asked earlier, particularly in the realm of spoken words. Again, perhaps it's societal conditioning, a misplaced notion that stoicism equates to strength. However, in my observation, men often express devotion and reassurance through actions, through providing and protecting, which is incredibly important. Yet, while these gestures are deeply appreciated by us women, our feminine hearts often yearn for the verbal affirmation, emphasizing that women also deeply value verbal affirmations. Understanding this nuance is key. While our men instinctively show care through acts of service or unwavering support, our hearts bloom with a gentle rain of spoken affection. So, for us women, effective listening, acknowledging our expressions with heartfelt sincerity, and then offering reassurance in both actions and words, and taking tangible steps to make sure that we're seen and heard, and clarifying assumptions, validating our feelings, and affirming our worth leaves a tapestry of profound safety and mutual appreciation. And this creates a truly safe and valued dynamic. Should we acutely be aware of this fear from the beginning of coupling? Absolutely. It serves as a crucial internal compass, a vital self check, you may call it. If that fear feels pervasive, if it whispers disrespect or a fundamental lack of empathy, then yes, it could very well be a significant red flag, signaling this particular partnership may not offer the same harbor as souls instinctively seek. Because the lack of a safe space, it's detrimental. It breeds misunderstanding and emotional distance. It casts a chilling pall over most promising of unions. It allows resentment to fester, emotional distance to widen, and the vibrant hues of intimacy just fade into a muted gray. When our hearts don't feel secure enough to express their truths, a wall slowly rises, brick by painful brick, until the very foundation of the relationship is threatened. Yet, he understands, that man, the right one, who ponders those intricate dynamics. He understands that while many men instinctively offer reassurance through their actions, the profound power of thoughtfully chosen words cannot be underestimated, particularly for a woman's heart. Effective listening, truly hearing and acknowledging our partner's expressions with genuine empathy coupled with reassuring actions. Those tangible steps taken to cultivate and maintain a safe space for open communication and tender words that validate our feelings and gently clear up any misunderstandings creates a dynamic that feels deeply respectful, profoundly valued, and utterly safe. A man who values you wants you to be seen and heard. He cares about your feelings. He respects your opinions. He appreciates your place in his life. He values your role, and he forever wants to preserve your smile. A man who truly cherishes us, my dears, will see our smiles as the most precious jewels. He will want to know the landscape of your heart, the valley of your sorrow, as well as the sunlit peaks of your joy. Making you feel safe will not be a mere afterthought, but a paramount consideration, an intentional and consistent endeavor. The right partner will make it their paramount goal, or at least a serious consideration, to make you feel safe intentionally and consistently. But it's not just on them, is it? As the charming Mr. Clooney once wisely observed, speaking of his beloved Amal, I just love those two. And I quote, "It's about an incredibly evolved person who is incredibly smart and has a great sense of humor. And she's also one of the kindest people I've met." It speaks to us deep admiration and respect, a foundation upon which true safety can flourish. So, what can we as women also offer our men? How can we show them that we value their efforts to create this safe space for us? We can express our appreciation. We can listen actively to their needs, validate their feelings, and offer them the same respect and empathy that they give us. Do we as women always offer a safe space for our men to also feel seen and heard? It's a crucial self-check. We need to ensure it's a mutual exchange, something we not only offer, but embody throughout our relationship. Think about it. Are we also offering that same safe harbor for our men? Do we create an environment where they feel secure enough to express their own vulnerabilities, their own fears, their own joys, without the fear of being belittled and dismissed as well? This requires honest self-reflection. We must constantly examine our own reactions, our own tendencies to interrupt or invalidate their experiences. So how do we, in our feminine grace, make our partner feel safe? We enable this through conscious and consistent action. We listen with our full attention without interruption, truly striving to comprehend his perspective even when it differs from our own held beliefs. We validate his feelings, acknowledging that his emotions are real and significant, regardless of whether we fully grasp their origin. We consciously refrain from criticism, judgment, blame, and dismissiveness, those corrosive elements that can instantly shut down the delicate flow of communication. We choose our words with utmost care, understanding the profound power they hold to either build unbreakable bridges or erect impenetrable walls. We reassure him, not just with beautifully chosen words, but with consistent actions that unequivocally demonstrate our unwavering love, profound respect, and steadfast commitment. And for both men and women, self-reflection is absolutely key here. We must constantly examine our own reactions, our own tendencies to criticize or inadvertently dismiss feelings or perspectives. When we engage in this honest self-assessment and identify areas where we can grow, we must consciously choose to embody the very qualities of a safe partner: active and empathetic listening, genuine validation of our man's emotions, our woman's emotions, profound empathy, and consistent reassurance of our love and respect. It must be a reciprocal exchange, a delicate, beautiful dance of give and take, offered and received with grace throughout the entirety of our relationship, woven into the very fabric of marriage. So, my darlings, my muses, I leave you with this thought. Are you cultivating a safe space in your relationships? Are you feeling truly safe within yours? Let's start with these conversations both with ourselves and with our partners. Ultimately, the quiet strength of a relationship where you don't constantly fight isn't a sign of something missing, but often a beautiful testament to the safety and trust that we have built over time. It's about choosing a partner who makes you feel secure enough to be true to yourself, flaws and all. Now, I want to hear from you. Does this resonate with you? Have you experienced this kind of safe dynamic in your own relationships? What does a safe space in a relationship look and feel like for you? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Let's get a conversation going. If this monologue resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up, share it with all the incredible women in your life, and don't forget to subscribe to the Soraya Cofie Show. That's my handle across all socials for more thought-provoking monologues and musings on love, life, and everything in between. Remember to click that notification bell so you never miss a thing. Thank you for joining me today on this episode of Monologue and Musings. Remember, you deserve a love that feels like a safe harbor, where you feel safe, seen, and heard. Until next time.